NZers.
Hi.
Today we are doing another reaction. We're going to check out something that was requested in one of our other videos that we did, and it's called the Star Spangled Banner as you've never seen it, and we found it on a channel called Mona Rose.
Yep.
And apparently we know nothing about it except for it's a story of the American national anthem and how it came to be.
We've heard the anthem before, obviously,
We love the anthem.
but we don't know anything about, like, you know, the lyrics, or we don't really.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I catch Atlanta singing the national anthem for America in her room. She loves it. I'm a big fan of it. So,
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, I'm excited to check this out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
So
have a look.
I think we're just in for a bit of a history lesson here, I think.
I hope so, because it'll be
Yeah.
good for the kids.
Let's check it out. Your flag that you drew on your iPad was pretty close to that, eh?
Oh yeah, you got a few technicalities wrong.
Yeah, I did I did think I did like 10 flags instead of 13.
There was a lawyer once, his name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the National Anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict
Is that the White House?
with the
Wow.
mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners.
Sounds
They
good.
said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore.
Beautiful place.
And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached the conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men.
Wow. What have they done?
Men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free.
Oh, they're actual
He
criminals, or
said,
are they like?
tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains.
Wrongfully in prison?
As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth.
Wow.
He said, how are you going to do that?
Those are fighting words.
He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet.
Wow.
He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort.
Wow.
It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war's over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children.
Oh, is that what it
He
actually
said,
looked
it's
like?
predominantly not a military fort.
Kind of looks like a turtle.
He said,
It does.
It does.
they said, we've left them a way out. He said, what's that?
It's like a fancy pentagon.
He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered.
I noticed it was
You'll now
only
be under
15
British
stars on
rule.
that flag.
There's
Francis
supposed to be how
Scott
many?
Key went down
50.
below and
50.
told the men.
I think there was
what
like
about to
only
happen.
15 colonies or something back in the day.
Okay.
And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds.
Hundreds full of prisoners.
The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed.
Uh-oh.
He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is.
Oh, wow.
What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us.
The flag means a lot, huh?
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb.
Wow.
And Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The Admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them?
Respect.
He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees.
Nice.
Nice.
When you got hope. When you got
The Admiral
courage.
said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful.
Oh, imagine being in the fort.
All that he could hear was the men down below praying.
Nice.
The prayer. God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough.
Still standing.
There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds.
Oh, really?
The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle.
Oh, it's
The
on a
flag
landing,
was
but
still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when it had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground,
wow.
although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly.
Oh, wow. It was the people
until
holding
they
it up.
died.
Oh, my goodness.
Their bodies were removed and others took their place.
Oh, wow.
Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle
Was the American people.
were patriots' bodies.
That's incredible.
And the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
I never knew that.
Oh, me neither.
or the rocket's
Wow.
red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
I wondered what
Yeah.
that was.
proof through the night that the flag was still there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet fly?
Get waved.
Wave. or the land of the free.
In the home of the brave.
Nice. Man, that was brave.
Was demanded.
So brave.
The
I feel like you don't
price
see
was
brave
paid.
people like that.
No, you don't have the courage.
Oh, that hits so.
Wow, that
Wow.
was absolutely amazing.
Oh, no. I don't know if I can watch.
You're getting a bit swept up in the moment.
I think it's an emotional song even as it is without knowing that
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Like it just hits. Oh. Mental, you should sing it. You love this song.
For the ramparts we watched
Is it left hand?
were
Left hand?
I don't know.
Remember I got it wrong that one time? They were like, your wife's got
I think it's the right hand, isn't it?
It's over the heart.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's this one. It's your right hand. Your heart's over. It has to be
So it's your right hand on the left side of your chest, because that's where your heart is.
That's what they do every time, eh?
Yeah. Wow, this gives so much more context and
It
meaning
really
to all the lyrics
does.
now, eh?
Yeah.
I guess that's why some people just don't actually listen to the words, because they don't know the story.
Also, it's just whenever you see American sport, and it really hits when they sing the song.
Yeah.
Like it's a real respect thing.
Yeah.
And knowing the story behind it, I can see why.
Yeah. Man, as far as like origin stories go, that's probably got to be like the best one out there. That's so cool.
It is just.
It's almost like something out of a movie.
It is. Yeah.
And the home of the oh, say
Man, that's amazing. One thing you got to say is that the American people, they don't lack courage.
Yeah.
You know, they've been in plenty of like warfare and stuff like that, and whether the warfare was right or wrong, you know, I mean, look at World War II. You know, they you know, what they did in like the Pacific, they saved us basically
Yeah.
from the Japanese
Yeah.
and Australia.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, we'd probably all be speaking Japanese right now. It's true.
Home of the brave.
Wow, it all makes sense now.
Be brave. Feel freedom.
Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. 100% true.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really cool. It was
Yeah.
almost like presented like a sermon.
It was.
It was almost like someone was giving like a sermon and then
Yeah.
they put like visuals to it.
Yeah. It really hit me.
Yeah, that was really, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
That was a
that
cool
was
little piece of history, yeah.
That was good.
Also, another little fun fact, that the New Zealand national anthem, God Defend New Zealand, is the only national anthem in the world that is a prayer. So,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And it's got lots of verses that we don't traditionally sing, but they are.
Yeah, it's quite a long one.
It's a long one,
Yeah,
but
we usually sing the first verse
yeah,
in Maori, and then English,
yeah,
and then there's like 3 or 4 verses.
3 or 4 verses.
Yeah, that are kind of
And
left
it's
out.
a prayer. What a story! Literally never
Yeah.
knew that.
Amazing.
Mm.
Absolutely amazing.
Enjoyed that.
I got a little bit teary.
Oh
a
mate,
little bit.
I had to
Tiny
hold
bit.
back. I could have really let it flow, but I was like, oh no.
What did you guys think?
It was actually really interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
I was not expecting it when
No,
it
neither.
I thought that it was going to be like, oh, by some, you know, divine hand that the pole was just staying undamaged and it was just staying perfectly upright and the bombs weren't damaging it.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it was actually all the people who were
Wow.
holding it up. That's
Incredible.
absolutely incredible, eh?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you to whoever recommended that we watch that.
Yeah, there was a few of you, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to you guys.
That was cool.
That was amazing. Really enjoyed it. A little bit of a history lesson. So yeah, I think we've got some other stuff lined up.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
do let us know if you've got something else you want us to have a look at, because we really like learning.
Yeah,
So
love it.
Yeah,
Like sponge will soak it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see you in the next one.
Yep, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.